Welcome to Immigration Quicktake. This is Ellie Rutledge Silver with the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Last night was the third and final presidential debate, and here to provide an update is Benjamin Johnson, Executive Director of AILA. Ben, thanks for joining me. How did immigration play a role in last night's debate?
Well, I think last night's debate was similar to what we've seen in previous debates, which was not a lot of focus on policy and a lot more name calling and accusations and focusing on politics more than substance. It was a little bit better this time around. The third debate, I think, finally did get us into some areas of policy, and that included a brief discussion about immigration. Both candidates quickly pivoted to other more political issues, but we did at least get a couple of minutes on the issue of immigration. What we heard in those couple of minutes were that Donald Trump continues to be very committed to the wall. He wants to build a big, beautiful wall, and he really is focused on the enforcement side of things. Hillary Clinton expressed her interest in immigration, or desire to have immigration enforcement, was in favor of a wall in certain areas, but rejected the idea of spending that much resources on constructing a giant wall along our border. Much more focused on having a comprehensive approach to immigration. What I think was most important from Hillary Clinton was that she continued her commitment to do immigration reform within the first 100 days of her administration if she were elected. We've heard that before. I think that's very important. I would hope we will continue to hear that from her, and would love to hear more of that from Donald Trump if he is in fact elected.
What were you hoping to hear from the candidates on immigration?
Well, as I said, one of the things I think is important to hear from the candidates is that they are committed to leaning into this issue. I think no matter who gets elected, we're going to have a debate about immigration in January of next year. But I think it's really important that that debate happen as soon as possible. This has been a key issue in this campaign, and I think both parties are going to be very interested in showing their commitment to the issue and working on it soon. The opportunity for immigration reform, I think, is going to be at its strongest in those early days after the election. So what I really want to continue to hear is a commitment that the candidates will work on this issue. What I hope we'll hear more about is language about comprehensive immigration solutions. I don't think it's important, I don't think it's critical that a comprehensive bill be this 1,000-page document that we've seen before, but it is critical that the component parts of the immigration system get fixed. They are all interrelated. You can't have good enforcement unless you've got good ways for people to come into the United States legally, and you can't do that unless you've got an immigration system that responds to the needs of families and businesses. So all of these things are interwoven in terms of having a full, complete immigration reform system. I think it's really important that we, as the experts on immigration, continue to remind candidates at all levels of government that that's the essential component of immigration, is that we have a system that works for everybody at all phases and all stages of the process.
What should we expect going forward?
Very difficult to know what to expect going forward. I think that, as I said, we're going to have an immigration debate in January, regardless of who wins. The beginning point of that debate will be very different. If Donald Trump were to win the election, then I think absolutely we would have an immigration debate, and it would begin with a very enforcement-minded policies. Many of the policies that Donald Trump has proposed are policies that AILA has a long-standing position in opposition to. The kinds of massive deportation strategies that he has talked about are strategies that we would have to fight against in a Trump administration. If Hillary Clinton were to win, I think we would have an opportunity for a more comprehensive conversation, but we're definitely going to have to deal with those folks in the political environment who are currently Trump supporters. So regardless of who starts the conversation, it's going to be a conversation that has to deal with the essential components of enforcement, good legal channels of immigration, and figuring out what to do with the undocumented population that's here. Now, one thing I'm encouraged about is there was a recent Fox News poll that came up that showed, despite all of the really angry rhetoric in the debate, when asked, what do you think should happen to the illegal immigrants in the United States? Do you favor deporting as many as possible, or creating a system for them to become legal residents? And the answer from likely voters was 74% said that they wanted to see us create a system that allowed them to become legal residents. And that's the same number, 74% also of registered voters. That's a 10% increase from that same question that was asked in January of 2016. So we've actually, interestingly, despite the rhetoric, seen an increase in support for creating a system that allows undocumented immigrants an opportunity to become legal. I think that's good news for the issue, because I think solving the question of undocumented immigration is a big piece of the political puzzle. Even if it's only one piece of the reform puzzle, it's a big piece of the larger political debate. So I think that's good news for us in terms of having a population, a general populace that's out there that's open to good reform ideas. Now it's up to us to go out there and talk to them about what are the policies and positions that we need to take to build a strong immigration system that's good for U.S. families, good for U.S. businesses, and help build vibrant communities.
Thanks, Ben, for joining me. For the rest of you, please stay tuned for more updates from the American Immigration Lawyers Association.